Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I'm so glad you're here with me today because we are talking about the newest True Bias pattern, which is the Brynn Cardigan. I've made two. Okay. But before we get into that, today is Friday, which means we have a Feature Friday pattern for Love Notions, and that pattern this week is the Legato jeans. If you're interested in making jeans, if you've never made jeans, if you're worried about fitting jeans, this is a fantastic pattern. It kind of has a choose your own adventure feel to it in that you can pick the petite size, so the rise is a little shorter, the legs are a little shorter, the regular, which is regular rise, regular leg, or the tall, which is a tall rise, tall leg. You can choose from a regular butt or a full butt. So they do the adjustment for you if you carry a little bit more volume in your rear end. And then also if you need a contoured, like a curvy waist, so if you've got a smaller waist to hip ratio or a straighter waist to hip ratio. So there's a fitting workbook that comes with the pattern. It's a really great jeans pattern meant for stretch denims. And I've made them a couple of times. I made the original leg and then I widened the leg for my most recent pair. I actually copied the leg from the Love Notions Largo Cargos. I just basically widened the leg on those legatos, and those have turned into, they're a little snug on me at the moment, but those will be back in my rotation as soon as the weight evens out just a little bit more. So anyway, fantastic pattern. You can grab it for $5 today only, and my code 10TKStitchery will get you an additional 10% off that sale price. All right, let's talk about the True Bias Brynn Cardigan. So if you've been following along on my style journey, I did the Seamwork Patterns Design Your Wardrobe course. And if you are a member of Seamwork, their club, which you get 2 credits for 2 patterns each month, if you get the unlimited tier, 2 patterns each month, and then also access to all their classes as well. It's all included. And I have a 50% off coupon for that if you are interested in doing that, where you can get half off the year's unlimited subscription. I'll link it down below. But anyway, I went through that in the fall. They're going through it again in the winter right now. You can join. I did it with the group, but you can also, it's pretty easy to do like a self-led through the Design Your Wardrobe. You don't have to do it with the group. Anyway, I identified colors for my fall and winter wardrobe, styles, all that sort of thing. And one of the parts of this, I was putting together my outfit formulas, and I did that video not that long ago, was the need for some sort of a vest, but like a knit button up the front, but sleeveless top. Like I just saw quite a few outfits that I was pinning and also finding in stores that I then pinned as well that were using a similar top to this. Some were solid, some had stripes on them, but it was that same kind of silhouette, a button up the front vest, basically like a knit vest. And when I started seeing those, I was kind of playing around with how I could maybe hack a pattern to do what I wanted it to do and all these things. True Bias released the Brynn Cardigan, and I'm like, well, there's my pattern. That's so much easier if I can just buy a pattern. So the Brynn Cardigan, it comes in quite a few different options. You can do cropped, hip, or long, like a little bit lower. No, I'm saying that wrong. Cropped, hip, or midi length for the dress. There may be a couple more. Now I'm saying that. There may be a couple of more like lengths that you could also cut it. It's meant for knit fabrics. You can do a short sleeved, you can do a long sleeved, you could also do a 3/4 sleeved, or you can do sleeveless, and then it buttons up the front. But there are instructions if you don't want it to be a cardigan, if you're never going to wear it as a cardigan, if you're always going to wear it as a top or a dress, basically just sewing the buttons all the way through that button placket and then not worrying about making them functional, which is what I did on both of these versions because I wanted both of these to be garments, not necessarily a cardigan. It very much speaks to my 90s teenagedom, and that the cropped version with like the little short sleeves, like I'm 100% sure I owned that little cardigan and wore it as a shirt back in the 90s. I'm positive I did. So it speaks to me a little bit on that level as well. So I grabbed the pattern, and I originally planned on making mine out of a olive green rib knit that I had in my stash. However, I did not have enough. I tried, Jenny was with me. We were trying to figure out how to like get the pattern pieces on there, and I was worried that would happen. Just did not have enough fabric. So, and I do not even remember where that fabric came from. I think I bought it and used it as ribbing for sweatshirts at some point. Anyway, I did not have enough for this top. However, what I did have in my stash is some of this leftover Ponte twill fabric. So this came from Surge Fabrics, and they still have it in stock. I made a pair of Style Arc Parker Ponte pants. In fact, my sew along that I did for the Style Arc Parker Ponte pants was in this fabric. And I don't even think I had a yard left of it. Like, bits and pieces were kind of out, and I had just enough to eke out this top with the bands, you know, the front band and the arm bands, and enough to do the like hip length one. Now I did shorten the pattern an inch at the waist, which is what I often do with patterns because I'm very short in the torso, and I had literally just enough. There were minimal scraps left after cutting this out. But guys, this fabric makes such a phenomenal like sweater vest. So I was a little worried that maybe it might be a little too thick. No, it's perfect. I am so in love with this top. It is everything that I hoped it would be for wearing in my wardrobe. I cannot wait to pair it with more things. Obviously, I've paired it with my slip skirt. This was a kind of a sew the look that I wanted to do, which that will be a short here soon. Kind of want to do some more of those sew the looks, but as just shorts on YouTube, and then also over on Instagram as well. Love it. I wore it to the bowling alley, so I've worn it with jeans. I just finished making it, and I'm just over the moon. I made the size 14, and I did, and she has two size ranges. She's got like a 0 to a size 16 or 18, and then a size 14 through 28 or 30, I think, two different size ranges. I bought the smaller size range because I knew my daughter was going to want one as well. The larger size range is drafted for a D cup. It's either D or double D. I think it's D. The regular size range is designed for a C cup, which is a 3-inch difference between upper bust and full bust. I have a 4-inch difference between upper bust and full bust, which is technically a D cup. But I thought, maybe it would be better if I did buy the larger size range, and it would probably, just be perfect with because it would have the D cup already drafted in for my size, because I did sew up the 14. But again, I wanted the smaller one for my daughter. So I could have done a full bust adjustment, but it would have been minimal, and this is knit fabric. So the only alteration I made to this pattern was to shorten it 1 inch at the waist, and I think that worked out perfect. I used some buttons from my stash. These were vintage buttons that came from my friend Cisa's shop when she was closing up her alterations shop. And I went through some of her buttons and stuff, and she just let me have them. And this is some of the buttons. I had 6, which was perfect for this project. And I think it just perfect. So what I did was I took Wonder Tape. In fact, I haven't washed this yet, and I can still see the Wonder Tape here. That will wash away. The Wonder Tape, and taped my plackets together, and then I just sewed the buttons onto the front through both layers, so it keeps the layers together. I was wondering if I might still have some issues with gaping because it is knit, but I think it works out fine. My daughter has a little bit of gaping just here with this top button, so I may go, since these are I'm wearing as is, and just hand stitch that completely down just through these like a couple of top buttons. But it works really, really well on mine, and I absolutely cannot wait to wear this fall and winter. I had this on, like I said, at the bowling alley with jeans, and I threw my Metro blazer over it as a layer piece, the one that's like the rust and black plaid knit blazer, and I felt so cool and chic. And everything, it was jeans and like 2 knit tops. So it was a very comfortable outfit, and I still felt very polished. And I was watching my son. He's on the bowling team at the high school, so I was there as a spectator, and I felt very put together and everything. Love this color. I think it's going to go really well with my Largo cargos I'm getting ready to make. This olive green goes so well with all of the other pieces in my wardrobe. So absolutely over the moon with my version. But one of the things when we buy new patterns that is great to think about is other ways we can use the pattern. So can I make other views of it? Are there other things that other people I can make it for? Which is why I took into consideration that my daughter's probably going to want one of these, and I could use the pattern again for her, which is why I did buy the smaller size range. And we did it. So this is obviously the midi version. I ended up shortening this 3 inches total, all in the skirt. I left the bodice alone. She has a very long waist. So, and the waist does hit her where it's supposed to hit a body. So I took all of there are 2 lengthen and shorten lines on the skirt, and I took 1.5 inches off each one to shorten the skirt a little bit on her. And you can see how long it still is on her. She's 5'2". But we made her, oh my gosh, what size did I make her? I think I made her the 8. 6 or the 8, I can't remember. And we shortened the sleeves by 1 inch as well. This is made out of a Stoff knit that I got from University of Sewing. I think they still have the same color. I think it's just showing up maybe a little bit more red on screen because it's called Dusty Rose or something like that. Dark rose red, something like that. But it'd be very, very similar. This color is phenomenal on my daughter. I had just enough of this. I think I bought 2 yards of this when I purchased it for my daughter, but I just didn't know what I was going to do with it. And we had just enough. Jenny actually cut this out for me, and we didn't even think, like, we had to cut the sleeves a little bit shorter than we intended, although it ended up just fine. So this is the Stoff jersey knit, and it's perfect for this dress. I love Stoff knit. It is just a really great quality jersey fabric. This is a cotton spandex knit, and it's worked really, really well for this dress. And I know there's some concern that maybe just a jersey would be a little too clingy for a dress like this, and you could do this in a ponte. You could, use this ponte twill very easily to make this dress as well, just be a little bit thicker, a little bit warmer probably. But I don't think that this is clingy at all. I mean, she's an 18-year-old, so not as much worry about things being clingy. Like I said, we're getting a little bit of gaping here between these 2 buttons, so I'll probably just go in and hand sew that closed so she just doesn't have to bother with that. But she loves her new dress. She's got a couple of different pairs of boots that she can't wait to wear with it. Also super cute with tennis shoes. So yeah, she'll probably wear this to church, sometimes they have to dress up a little bit more for school. So I could see her sporting this for that as well. But just a good testament that 2 very different style aesthetics, my 18-year-old and my 44-year-old self, but the same pattern, 2 very different fabrics, and you can kind of hit all the boxes. So a very important thing to think about when you're maybe buying patterns is how else can I use this so that it's not just a one and done. Some patterns are going to be that way. You don't need multiple statement coats in your wardrobe maybe, so maybe you save it for another time. But if you could make something maybe for someone else, or even change up the style a little bit so it doesn't look the same in your wardrobe, just a great way to be a little bit more economical in our sewing as well. And I've recreated some designer looks now with my top that I absolutely couldn't afford, so that's a lot of fun thing to do as well. Okay guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I've really enjoyed being back in my sewing room. I'm staring at a couple of cutout projects that are right underneath the camera as I am filming this and cannot wait to get to those. And I've got quite a few more piles of fabric that have been laundered and ready to be cut out. So yeah, and Jenny's been sewing up a storm as well. So it's turned into quite the fun little workshop here in Tomcat Stitchery headquarters. On that note, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I hope you get some sewing in this weekend, and I'll see you guys again on Tuesday for a really fun video. All right, see you there.